Ladies, gentlemen, have you ever felt like you just woke up? Well, it just woke up. Let's go ahead and play this. I think y'all gonna be interested.
Welcome to the real world.
Welcome to the real world.
We found him.
I hope you're right.
I don't have to hope. I know it.
They found him.
Am I dead? Far from it.
He's not dead. He's pins and needles.
He still needs a lot of work.
What are you doing?
Your muscles have atrophied. We're rebuilding them.
Why am my eyes hurt?
You've never used them before.
Uh-oh. Have you ever had that experience where your eyes hurt and your brain hurts after doing research and studying? For the most part, for many of you, the reason why that happens is just as they explained in this series, it's because you've never used it. That's all right. It's time for you all to start using your brains, start using your minds. We're going to have a conversation. Y'all don't mind? All right, we're going to take a trip to a little imaginary place. And we're going to take this trip, and I want y'all to listen to me. The matter of EeoN versus US Bank. Sir, the Federal Reserve is not located in this county, and thus I'm going to have to dismiss this matter because the defendant does not have a domicile in this county. Excuse me, Your Honor, but I would like to correct your presumption. I find it very offensive that you would assume and or presume that they don't have a domicile in this county. I will direct your attention to the Federal Reserve Act, Section 16, or excuse me, Section 1, subsection 1, 2, and 3, that U.S. Bank is a member bank of the Federal Reserve. As a matter of fact, they're included as being a national banking association. And as a member bank of the Federal Reserve, they are in more times than 5 a day representing the Federal Reserve in transactions. So, you are incorrect in presuming that they don't have a domicile in this jurisdiction. I have a question. Why is it, and I'm not disagreeing that this should not be the case, but why is it that you require individuals such as myself to prove I have standing to bring forth a claim, and then to prove each of the claims I bring forth, but you don't require the same of banks? What am I talking about? Oh, almost on a daily basis during the week, this court allows for banks to come in with copies of promissory notes, not the original, just copies, and saying that there's an outstanding debt, and you tell the person for whom they bring the claim against, they have to prove that the debt is not outstanding, and you don't make the bank prove that, one, they have the original note, two, that there has been some type of a comprehensive accounting showing every single transaction, showing that the loan has not been paid off, and three, showing that they loaned money in the first place. Loan money. Oh, you don't understand? Okay, Your Honor, let me show you how the banking system operates according to the law, not according to what is perceived by individuals or the presumption. First, the borrower goes to the bank to borrow money, but they have to, because the way the law is written, only Federal Reserve banks may borrow money from the Federal Reserve banks. And so the borrower has to petition for the capacity. The Federal Reserve according to Presidential Proclamation 2039 and the March 9, 1933 Act, were permitted to create regulations for allowing this. Yes, Section 13, subsection 13 of the Federal Reserve Act says that individuals can borrow money from the Federal Reserve. So they had to make a mechanism for them to do that. So they did. It's called Operating Circular number 10, Appendix number 3. This is the application spoken of in Section 16 of the Federal Reserve Act, subsections 2 and 4. So the borrower at closing signs these papers, which is considered the application packet. That's why at closing they sign a packet of papers. And they give the bank authority to receive the monies on their behalf from the Board of Governors. That's identified in Section 14. And when it is approved, the request for the monies, the Federal Reserve Board of Governors is obligated, according to the law, Section 16, subsection number 4 of the Federal Reserve Act, to issue Federal Reserve notes to the borrower through the bank, the financial institution. The financial institution hasn't loaned a single dime, hasn't loaned a single cent. You don't make them prove that they've loaned money. You just assume and presume that they've loaned money, allowing the burden of proof to be on the borrower and not be on the bank. So if you're going to give them presumption, doesn't equal protection of law says you have to give me the same presumption when I bring forth my claim against them? Ladies and gentlemen, the banks don't loan money to no one when it comes to a promissory note being given to the bank. Your promissory note is delivered to the Board of Governors. Now, because you deposit the promissory note with the bank, it's a deposit. The banks get to fractional reserve your deposit for the full amount, the face value of your promissory note. That's a gain for the bank, capital gain. Oh, I'm sorry. When they fractional reserve, you know they don't pay taxes on their fractional reserve. So it's a non-taxable gain. There's no law that allows them to do that. They are just allowed to do that. Now, they've just made a gain off of your your note is paid. Your note just paid for everything because they got to fractional reserve. But hold on now. They now convert it to a negotiable instrument, give it to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, who then in turn gives them the Federal Reserve notes, either in credit form or in the physical form, on your behalf. What has the bank done? No. The law requires that the bank show that they have a substantial loss. So what has the bank brought forth? There must be value, your promissory note, and consideration. Exchange. They must give you something for the promissory note. What do they give you? Oh, a temporary credit? Well, no, they received the offset for the temporary credit when they received the monies from the Federal Reserve Board of Governors on your behalf, which they must issue on your behalf. Must issue. So again, oh, and when they receive the monies from the Federal Reserve, do you know they get the fractional reserve that too because it counts as a deposit? Do you know that every payment you make to the bank, they get to fractional reserve it because it's a deposit? You call it payment, they call it deposit because they have to deposit it into an account. Every deposit, they get the fractional reserve. So at midnight every night, when they zero out their accounts, they have to put the money someplace, so they deposit it again and potentially fractional reserve that deposit. Again, there is no law. Pay attention. There is no law permitting or allowing fractional reserve banking. It is just something they do. They create their own regulations. They are the fox guarding the chicken house. And because chickens mass produce in such numbers, they gets to eat all day long. So where there's no value, there's no consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the theme of the song that's attached to this video. Gotta go. Have a good day.